Hello everyone, welcome to Penang Roadshow to India 2022 virtual forums organized by Penang Convention Exhibition Bureau and powered by Teen Media. So you may know that Penang Roadshow to India 2022 is going on a hybrid format this time. They will have a virtual B2B event starting from 25th of January, which is from Monday. And then also after the virtual event, there will be a networking dinner in 4 cities. Cochin, Chennai, and Bombay, and New Delhi, which is in February. The dates are not yet announced. So this time it's on a hybrid format. So basically, this 4-city event is actually physically organizing to make sure that the key industry players and also the participants who is going to be in the virtual event. There's some sort of gamification also happening this time to increase the engagement. You will be winning points, especially for the buyers and the trade visitors. So the virtual roadshow, so far it's been amazingly received. We could see a lot of registrations from the India agent side. There's also, we have plenty of Malaysian sellers already been registered. So I'm pretty sure that everybody is looking forward for this event next week. So those who would like to know more about this virtual roadshow, if you like to participate as a trade visitor, you also have an option to walk in as a trade visitor. So you can log into penangroadshow.com. One of our colleagues will be putting down the link on the chat so that you can register anytime you want. You still have time. So a very good evening to all of you from Malaysia, from India, all the buyers who are joining us. So basically, we are actually we can see a lot of people are joining in. Please share this stream to your colleagues, your WhatsApp groups and Facebook pages so that we can more people join the session. So today's topic, we are actually going to discuss about the good, the bad and the ugly on tourism recovery. I'm pretty sure that all of us in the industry has been talking about tourism recovery process since the past couple of months or couple of probably a year. and there are so many types of various recovery processes various countries have been adopting, and I think the people from the industry will definitely know what are the issues they face or what can be done better. Or just that's the reason of this, to bring everyone together to just have a sharing session. Do let us know which city you are watching from, so that we know that we could get an idea of our audience here. All right, guys. So basically, we have a very good bunch of panelists for this session today. I would like to basically introduce them. Let me put them on the screen. Before that, so those people who basically registered as a trade buyer, I would like to show the gamification process we have pre-event. If you're attending this webinar, and there will be a link posted towards the end of this session, and if you are answering the questions correctly, you stand to chance stand to win prizes, in the sense points, and will be collected together, and it will be also towards in the virtual platform. This point will be added, and then that can be helpful for you to win the prizes, which is basically the invitation towards the Penang networking night, as well as fully paid hosted trips into Penang when the borders open. All right, so let me come back to introducing our speakers. Let me put them on the screen. All right, so let me introduce first. We have YB Satees Muniandy. He's actually the Penang State Legislative Assembly member representing Penang State Government. YB is part of the Penang State Legislative Assembly since 2018. Prior to that, he was the municipal councillor and city of Seberang Perai, the largest municipality in Malaysia, and he was instrumental in charting the council's policy of promoting ecotourism, and one of the core businesses of Seberang Perai. And I think he's somebody who's very close to the tourism industry, and I was fortunate enough to be with him the previous roadshow to India. So we were actually, I'm sure many of the agents in India must have met him. Welcome, YB. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for taking your time out here and joining us.
Thank you, Presanth, and Vanakkam, Namaskaram to all our industry players in India and also in Malaysia. It's nice to meet you virtually, Presanth, after almost 2 years.
Yes,
the last time I met you was my last visit to any overseas. After that,
all right, okay, the roadshow.
And very glad to meet my co-panelists, Mr. Jitul Mehta and Madam Zahira. Nice to meet you guys.
Same as here, Mr. YB Satish.
Thank you.
All right, let me introduce the second speaker. We have Mr. Jitul Mehta, the chairman of West India chapter of the Travel Agent Federation of India. He is a textile engineer turned travel agent and the managing director of VP Travel. He is also a founding member of BNI chapter Prosperity. So welcome, Jitul, to the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Presanth.
So the third speaker we have is Ms. Zahira Tahir, CEO founder, Universal Holiday Travel and Tourism Malaysia. Zahira Tahir has been in the industry for the last 22 years, and she's been a woman entrepreneur and pretty well known in the Malaysian travel industry. She's been winning a couple of awards here. She's been the most influential woman leaders in tourism industry by CMO Asia, and also Asia's woman leader at World Women Leadership Congress, Singapore. Great, Zahira, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, PC, for inviting me today, with the other two esteemed guests, YB and also Mr. Jitul. Basically, my mom comes from YB territory. She's from Bukit Mertajam. So, yeah, that's nice. We connect there.
All right, great. That's nice. That's nice to hear that. I mean, it's some kind of acquaintance already there, right? Same place. All right. So I think let's
call it.
Yes,
I call it.
Yeah, Seberang.
All right. Okay, so let's move on to the discussion. We have all the people are watching. If you have any kind of questions you want to post it down to the panelists, please type it down on the comment box. We will be taking it one by one. So I'll start with YB Satish. What is your outlook on the current direction of tourism in, let's say, in Penang or Malaysia, for that matter?
Um, Thank you, Prashant. And as we all know, for the past 2 years has been challenging times for all of us, for all the industries, and in particular for the tourism industry, it was a very very tough time, and we had some small industry players who had to shut down their businesses because they, I mean, especially in 2020. Because the ecosystem of the tourism collapsed during that time. During that period, the government was looking at all the governments, in fact, throughout the world, looking at closing down their doors. In particular, in Malaysia, we even had our interstate traveling ban. We can't travel from one state to another. There were children who can't meet their parents, and there were husband and wives who can't meet each other when they are working in two different states. So this was the case in Malaysia in 2020. In 2021, we were very positive. We thought it will, after the now cases were going down, we were heading to some recovery, and then there was another lockdown. It was uh, earlier the name was different. They call it PKP, PKPP, and everything. But last year, they strictly imposed full lockdown. That means they locked down everything, and once again the tourism industry was hit badly. But after, I think, since last August, the recovery has been on the way, and I'm looking at now. The domestic tourism is booming up, and in fact, all the hotels are being booked fully. We can't basically, if you are a business traveler, you can't get a room in any of our hotels, and that is the case for Penang. I think the case is still about the domestic tourism, and of course, Penang as a one of the most, if not the only tourism attraction in Malaysia, but we are the one of the most top tourism place in Malaysia, where people from all other states would like to come to Penang, and for many reasons, especially our food. I think Ms. Zahira, she will agree with me. Penang food is the best food, we would call. Like for us, the Penang people, if we go out of Penang, we can't really live there. Even though I like Indian food, South Indian food, I can't stay there for more than 7 days. I would always want to come back to Penang and have our own Penang food. So it's been most attractive tourism spot for Malaysian and also for the foreign travelers. But what happened is, now we are full with the domestic travelers coming into Penang for tourism and everything, and we are seeing that the relaxation of our COVID-19 protocols, people are being allowed together, although not in big numbers, but in a small number. It's showing some positive recovery, but I think it's still not enough. We need our borders to open, and I think personally, in my opinion, we can't be forever close our borders and living like, we are living within a shell, that without not allowing people, especially the tourists, to come in. And I think uh, I'm a person who travel frequently. Before this, I didn't go to any other countries, especially India. We used to go to India at least 2 to 3 times on official matters, on our personal visit pilgrimage, but then we can't really go to India. So I think it's about the time. Penang is also looking at the opening of borders for allowing the foreign tourists to come in, and especially the Indian tourists. We have been always, I think, in 2020, when in January 2020, when we were in India, one of our concern is we wanted to get a direct flight, if possible, from any Indian destination to Penang, so that we are targeting the Indian tourists to come into Penang, because we know Indian tourists will love Penang. But then suddenly the COVID came, and everything was disrupted. And I hope with the current relaxation, maybe Malaysia is not as drastic as some other country. Our health ministry, they are a bit slow in implementing this recovery process because they are very cautious and very concerned. And I think at one point they still have to open our border. And with the, I just read about Boris Johnson of UK implementing some sweeping policies of opening borders. People can go maskless and everything. I think most of the countries in the world are ready to go beyond COVID. We have to open our borders. We have to open our economy. So I think, in Penang's perspective, that will be the case. But everything rests on the federal government's hand because immigration is not under the purview of state government. So the federal government, when they open the international borders, I definitely see the opportunity for both tourism players in India and also in Malaysia to come to Penang and really do their business. So this is the case for Penang, Chandra. And I just want to add on. Only yesterday, Penang, especially the Georgetown, our capital of Penang, has won an ASEAN's Cleaner Tourist City Award. So just to point out in this time. Thank you.
All right, that's a great news. Congratulations to all the Penangites for keeping it clean, right? Thank you, Vaidi, for the sharing. Let me move on to Mr. Jitul. Jitul, if you could, tell us the latest updates from your association, and also what are the details, you would like to share, and any recent activity happening in your associations and all.
Yeah, PC, we are working as an association very closely with the government bodies, very closely, and with our members also. And when this pandemic started in 2020, we were like, everyone was clueless what needs to be done. But our we immediately we get a hold of it. We started doing a lot of webinars with the product updates, a lot of other Zoom calls, the knowledge sessions. We keep doing it. We keep updating our members regularly, and then we start talking to the government that how the benefits or the support can be extended to the trade, which is very critical. So a few of the measures has been taken by government, like as in certain industry level state, not industry, the certain level of business status. If they have, they offered some kind of a less interest or a collateral free loans and all other things, which our members have taken a benefit of it. But the best part is that we keep updating our members with the knowledge and things. So currently, right now in January 27th, as a Mumbai chapter, West India chapter, we are going to Ran Utsav, which is a very famous the event which is happening for 4 months in Gujarat. The first time the Gujarat tourism has opened up for us. So around 100 plus members are going over there. So this is how the product update keeps coming. And the domestic tourism is going good in India like, currently, if you really see. So an association still working very closely with the governments. We keep meeting government people, government bodies in New Delhi. We keep representing ourselves. It's going to take its own time, as YB Satish says. Government takes its own time to clear the stuff. But things will start moving on. In India, the vaccination numbers of vaccination, if you see, it's pretty high. So double vaccinated people are also there. So locally, people are traveling. If you ask me, PC, they are traveling regularly. Domestic tourism is really going strong. And first time the people have started exploring their own country. A lot of people who never used to explore India much. So the same as here. You know, in on holiday sports, you don't tend to get rooms. So
All right.
things are, and our members also have learned how to survive on a domestic tourism, and things are there. But yeah, the small agents has faced a lot of pressure, and still the pressure is on us. But the mice movement inquiry is also there on the tree in the industry. But let's see how things goes as and when the borders open up.
All
So
right.
this is very
Thank you for that. Yeah. All right. Thanks for the update, Jitul. So moving back to Zahira. So, if you could tell us, like, what is the current status of business according to you, and what type of activities are you guys handling these days, Zahira?
Hi, Prashant again. Okay. For me, I have a bit of different point of view in terms of domestic tourism. The infrastructure that Malaysia has built over the years, it is way beyond the capacity of handling the domestic tourism, right? We are doing 28 million tourists in 2019. We were targeting that, to achieve 32 million by 2020. Of course, lockdown happened. So the infrastructure that over the years have built, the capacity of the hotels, the guides, the vehicles that are available in the market is huge. So domestic can be a short-term solution. It can be a weekend solution to a certain destination. Penang did well. Cameron Highland did well. However, we have to look into the bigger inventory that is available across the region, across the country. And if the international border do not open rightly on time, more hotel will collapse. 120 hotels have closed down, ceased operation completely in 2020. And 2021 figure is still not out yet. So, big, huge hotels, brand like I think Jitul will know, Istana Hotel, they have ceased operation. So it is something that beyond tourism, domestic tourism consumption. The domestic travelers are driving their own vehicle. They are not using the tourist vehicle. They are not going to the attractions as what we are expecting them to. They are more into Airbnb. They are not really going to the hotel because they need to take 10% in the family to enter accommodation. So the government has to take this extremely seriously and not depending on domestic tourism. My second view is on international flights. All of us recently reading in the newspaper daily in Malaysia, price of goods are hiking up, right? I think we need to look into how international goods was actually coming to our country. For example, India. We used to have 200 over weekly flights from India to Malaysia. And they not only carry passengers, but they also carry perishable or non-perishable item, the quick item. We import vegetable, fruits, we import meat from India. And now with the limited flights coming in, the supply and the demand is not meeting, right? So that essentially is a huge impact. So the government, I think YB will be the right person to keep on raising this, that look tourism beyond travelers who are just traveling for a holiday purpose. Um, Restaurants in Penang are having tough time with their foreign workers. Most of the restaurants in Penang, their foreign workers come from South India, all the local joints. Foreign workers are unable to travel because cost of moving them from one place to another place is extremely expensive. Factories in Penang are suffering. So I think rather than we just focus on tourism tourists, but we have to see travelers as a whole solution. Airline need to restart their flights, then only buses will move, only then the guides will move, restaurants, the ecosystem and the chain process is extremely big and huge. So that's my point in that. And what kind of activity that we have been doing? We have been handling some cross-border transaction. Like for example, we have clients in Saudi Arabia who need us to move their labor from India to Saudi using us because they do not have contact. So we have been doing that kind of little business. Plus, of course, Langkawi travel bubble, which is another topic of extremely challenging for us to handle with all the changes in policies and SOP. So, yep, that's my
All
thought
right.
process on the border.
Got it. Thank you so much. I think, I think what you said is completely right. That's the reason I think we could at least, bring out these points in today's discussion to, figure out, if we could, get some kind of summarize this discussion, because everybody is actually looking forward for many answers, which I'm sure some of them can answer today, hopefully. So basically, if I ask YB, from a policymaker's perspective, what are the obstacles or challenges in current tourism recovery process? Right.
Thank you, Prashant. And from a policymaker's perspective, or as a people's representative, elected by the people, as a politician, my point, I think the biggest obstacle challenge is still COVID, because the new variant after variant are coming and threatening us. And previously it was Delta and Omicron. Now it's Omicron. But then I think we can't be beholden by this virus fear forever. at one point you have to open up, and you have to, since people are already getting vaccinated and people are traveling, and the number of hospitalization is coming down. I think eventually you have to open the borders. As I completely agree with Zahira when she said that don't I'm not just talking about the tourism industry, but the travelers them alone. Even business travelers are facing a difficult time to come into Malaysia, and some of the business travelers to go out from Malaysia, they also facing a difficult time. I think recently they stopped this My Travel Pass program, which I criticized in the past also, because it is very, very, very difficult for them people to get the approval of the immigration to go out. And I think the world is coming to the senses. We are opening, and Dubai, we have seen in the past a few weeks, people from all over the world are traveling to Dubai, and of course. They need to quarantine themselves back in Dubai, and also when they are coming back. I think the still, if you ask me what are the challenges, fear of COVID. I don't say COVID is an obstacle or COVID is a challenge, but the fear of a new variants, and I think vaccine should make people's life back to normal. We should be back to normalcy with vaccines. But now we are talking about first dose, second dose. Now it's about booster. We don't know. People are ready to, if travelers they want to travel, they need to get their COVID shots. People are ready for that. But why we are stopping those fully vaxxed people from traveling in and out, since they already have a certified vaccination? And I think the challenge, the policymakers themselves, the obstacle are the policymakers themselves, and bureaucracy, of course. The health minister, I mean, I'm being very frank here. Health minister, he is being advised by a group of professionals, doctors, maybe from the medical industry, but then they don't see the need of other industries here. As what Zahira said just now, not only the tourism industry affected badly because of this, the traveling ban, but also other industries like hospitality. We have acute labor shortage in our restaurants, and there is not much labors because all our most of the Indian and the nasi kandar operators in Penang, they are relying on the labors from India, South India, in specific. They don't have the labors. And also some other businesses, we are seeing that uh, uh, the whole ecosystem, the travel, the whole ecosystem of all other businesses is still relying on traveling. So I think the obstacle is there when those policy makers in regards to health don't want to take consideration of other industries. They are just focusing on, okay, we need to cut down the numbers of infection. We should control the infection, and they are just shunning the views of other industries. In my opinion, that is, I think at one point we have to relax these all these standard operation procedures for businesses to thrive again, not just the tourism industry, but all other business. And when we talk about tourism industry, when the tourism industry, the hotels are collapsing, it's not just the hotels. Those businesses that are relying on the hotel businesses, the many dobbies are closed now because their customers always been the hotels. And what about the other areas like restaurants nearby to that hotels? And this is a problem. And if you are going to go with these COVID protocols forever, eventually economy of any country will come down. I think Western countries already coming to their senses, and they are trying to repair the situation by opening up their borders and allowing travelers in and out. But I don't know about Asian perspective, like China. If there is a infection, let's say about 5 or 6, they are closing down the entire city. And of course, with the China's population and their economic power, they can do that. But countries like Malaysia, we I don't think we should follow that model of closing down the entire city, closing down the businesses in the fear of COVID. I think the fear of COVID is the biggest obstacle, and I think um, WHO or any other bodies will come to assure that this will be finally over and we all can leave our can go back to our normal lives.
All right, thank you for that sharing, YB. I think it's been. I think we are at the time where like what UK is doing, and also Thailand is also announced that quarantine free, and also I think it's getting opened, and let's hope that things would be getting better for this Asia Pacific region. I would like to ask Jitul, one question. Like if you go back, pre-COVID, right? The travel agents are always been fighting to survive. Like there was a lack of, there was OTAs, there were, they didn't have enough technology with them, and there was a lot of such activities. So, what do you think? Like, are they still? At this situation in place, how do you see the future of these tour operators?
See, let me tell you one thing very clearly: no one can replace human touch. We need human touch in every single thing, irrespective. Artificial intelligence or your OTAs or whoever platform cannot replace that feeling and the touch. And in fact, COVID has come in with a silver line that a lot of people have really realized that, well, if you have some face or someone to help you to talk, then that makes a hell of a difference. In my company also, I realized that a lot of clients who have moved out or moved away from my country, from my company, they returned the business to me. They started giving us a business, please take care of our business, because we know that you got the genuine information, you got us the refunds, you guide us properly. We have something to manage all of the things. So I personally believe the business, the travel tour operators of the travel agent is going to remain forever. Technology, yes, technology wise, we have to upgrade ourselves to give a faster solution and to give a better experience, but we have to be there. And that is what it's a learning curve for all of us, I personally believe. And even if there's a major shift in customers viewpoint also, believe me, this has happened in India. OTAs are there, but now they have learned also, and they are ready to
Great.
pay their actual service fees, and they are ready to, they started valuing, actually, mother than I should say that they started valuing their travel coordinators or the travel companies who had they have helped them out or who have actually built them out
All
personally.
right.
So I'm really not even worrying about, if personally I'm not at all worrying about that. We are going to remain. Let me tell you very clearly. No one can
Great.
replace us.
Great. That's very positive note from you. I think even with this COVID, I think it's
Yeah,
travel agents become more consulting kind of scope where people
correct.
would need more first-hand information, right? They don't want to believe what is on the internet. They want to talk to somebody and verify and all that. So I think that's going to be more relevant for the time to come. So Zahira, I would ask you, like it was a very hype up sort of thing. We had these travel bubbles, right? I mean, I think all the travel agents were very hopeful. We going to launch these travel bubbles a couple of months ago, including that VTL and everything. So I could see that you are one of them who were handling a couple of, I mean, many cases we could see you handling passengers in and out during traveling bubbles. You could share some of your experience. How was it for you? Like, I think you're muted, Zahira.
Okay. Sorry, I was muted. Did not realize that. Okay. In one word, I'll say nightmare. Langkawi travel bubble VTL. It is a big, huge nightmare. Because number one, the policy keeps on changing, the SOP keeps changing. All right. Okay, if you have changes in policy, the communication level has to be right. All those agencies, they should come up with one SOP, one communication. Unfortunately, the airline officers overseas were not aware. Forget about airline officers, even our embassies and mission abroad were not actually aware about the procedures of Langkawi travel bubble. There are few cases where they actually gave wrong information to travelers, and I got a client who got stranded for 3 days at the KLIA airport. 3 days at the prior to immigration. But then the information given to him, was wrong. So I think the communication, instead of Motec is having one communication, KKM is having one communication, there should be one level of communication, a single SOP that cover whether it is immigration or it is KKM or it is the hotel, the tour operator. It should be one standard communication, and it should be the responsibility of whichever agency, whether it is MKN or whether it is Wisma Putra, to ensure that every mission abroad has the right information. You see, giving and sharing information to us in Malaysia doesn't fulfill or the purpose of getting the travelers from outside Malaysia. Our main target is to ensure that people in India are aware, people in Middle East are aware, people in Europe are aware, because at the end of the day, travelers are not sure. So and okay, another thing is, why do you think Langkawi travel bubble has failed? For me personally, it has failed. We only had, I think, statistically for the last 3 months, less than 2,000 passengers who have used the travel bubble. Did we check on the air connectivity? Do we have direct flights to Langkawi? Do we have enough connectivity from, let's say, India to Kuala Lumpur in order for the client to take the passengers to take flight to Langkawi? So we did not actually do a complete homework of the full traveler requirement from the visa. We have a lot of clients in India or Pakistan complaining that embassies are not processing visa. Visa online is not there. What kind of visa are they allowed to travel using? What kind of visa they can use to travel to Langkawi travel bubble? So there's a lot of confusion. How many PCR tests? How many days that you need to be in Langkawi? So there's a lot of confusion for everything. So I think unless the confusion is not being sorted out and it's not being addressed rightly, it will not be a successful program. And another thing is, 7 nights in Langkawi before you come to the mainland. I think that's a bit too much. Do you really think a tourist would want to spend 7 nights in Langkawi and then come to KL? Maximum duration stay, if you're talking about the short haul flight into Malaysia, is always 4 nights, maximum 5 nights. And if you think that they just want to go to Langkawi and then go back to Delhi, or they just want to come to Langkawi and go back to Dubai, they're not going to do that. So we have to relook into the whole Langkawi travel bubble and the VTL, between even adding up more destination instead of only Singapore. We should start with Indonesia, with India, with China, with all these countries, because to be very frank, unless we do not open up to India and China, our tourism industry is not going to recover.
All right, Zahira, I think it's it's a sentiment of many travel operators who are actually. I know you're echoing the same sentiments which is in the market at the moment. I think we are having this conversation at the right time, because I'm pretty sure that there are more travel operators are trying out, or some other arrangements are coming up right after this. So maybe I would like to ask you this, right? I mean, if you look at the sentiments in the market, like tourism, if you talk about tourism recovery process and all that, everybody says that tourism industry didn't get its due in a priority, like when it comes to the recovery process, right? As Zahira was mentioning as well earlier. So many of them say that it would have done more efficiently, right? So from your perspective, like what could possibly go wrong in this kind of arrangements, like?
I think on Zahira just now, she has clearly, explicitly mentioned the problems faced by the industry players, especially the tourism industry players. The travel bubble itself, it looks like a mess, because the policy is so mixed up, and ministries, they can't come to a conclusion, and they come out with I would say that a half-baked SOPs, and it does not help anyone, in fact, especially the tourism industry players. I don't know why, when it comes to this drafting of policies of recovery, the tourism players input is not seriously taken. I think it should be taken very, very seriously, because tourism industry does not stop at the flights or the hotels themselves. After that, there are so many things interrelated. So I think I would agree to a certain extent, the recovery process often overlook the tourism industry. Maybe that's because they are looking at it uh, as not as a main industry. But then I think tourism industry is a main industry for any country now. In fact, our neighboring country Indonesia, when I visited them, I think about 4 or 5 years ago, uh, one of the travel guide was telling me we are looking at sustainable development, and tourism is the sustainable development we are looking at. We don't want to go and dig our mines anymore. We don't want to cut our trees anymore. Instead, we want to promote our tourism industry better than any other industry. So I think that should be the way. Having said that, I see the so-called travel bubbles and everything often overlook the tourism players. But I think in Penang, total contrary to that, our state exco for tourism, YB Yosun Hin, is a minister, so-called minister for Penang in the matter of tourism, is doing a splendid job in promoting the. In fact, for the past 2 years, despite our borders are closed, we are still having this virtual roadshow to India to promote our Penang tourism to the Penang, to the Indian industry players. So not only that, he's been continuously working, and he is also trying to lobby to the federal ministers, maybe to open up the borders and everything. That is what we are doing it in Penang. We are looking at tourism industry as one of the main industry for Penang, and we have never overlooked the tourism industry, and the view or the voices of the industry players are taken seriously. But sometimes we can't really, things are beyond our control because the federal government is there. Like when the hotels are closing down, Ms. Zahira was saying that about 120 hotels closed down. Maybe there are more the budget hotels which has been closed down, not in the account. But then we can't really step in and help these people directly. Our resources are limited. But I think the views of the industry players are taken very seriously, and as recent as a few weeks ago, the Association of Tourism Attractions in Penang, in fact, recognized YBO for his continuous support in the past 2 years. When the tourism industry was going down, he was trying to come out with something to support them in alternate ways. And he started a campaign called Responsible Tourism, what the tourists should do, and to show that we are very responsible in promoting tourism, and the tourism industry players themselves are very responsible in enforcing this campaign. So I think, yes, Chandra, to answer you, I would agree with that sentiment, but it's a different case in Penang. And even I don't know about Langkawi. As the Langkawi, the state government should be pushing the federal government. When you create such a bubble, you should accommodate everyone's view, especially the industry players. They know the best. The days of the government knows the best are gone. Now the people knows the best, and when it comes to any industry, the industry players know the best. I think the stakeholders consultation is very, very important, which is being continuously done in Penang. And I think we hope when our borders are open, we will see the improvement in this engagement and so on.
All right, thank you for that feedback. I think rightly said. Penang he's been in the forefront of all these promotions. I think it's been, everyone is really appreciate that effort from YBO and your team, everyone. So let me go back to Jitul. If you could just tell us like what kind of outbound tourism movement is happening at this point of time. Like for India, I think we have a couple of countries already open and a lot of traveling is happening. And also, how do you see the outbound future towards South Asia, let's say from your association's feedback and all that, Jitul?
Yeah, see, now let me come back to that. Typically, Indians aren't really travel. They always want to travel. So, yeah, now you look at the Maldives figure. The figures from India to Maldives has grown exponential in multiple folds, typically when they open up. Now, looking at the Dubai, you don't need to say anything. People are traveling for their work and for their VFR traffic is also there. And there are people who wants to travel. Like say, I have seen in from my own office also the Europe traffic has grown up exponentially all of a sudden because the business travel is there. There are people who just want to go out for a vacation. Believe me, when the after first when the Switzerland opened up, I had a group of around 30-40 people. They just go and celebrate someone's 40th birthday. So you can imagine the people just want to go out. And I'm also getting a lot of inquiries for weddings, for mice, because every all the big companies are just sitting because they have not done their mice, they have not done their product launch. They are tired of doing all virtual launches. He says we are not getting that feeling, that we are not getting that product response. So they just want to go out. And when Dubai opens up, I think so few of the pharmaceutical companies have done something in from the south. I have heard about it. They have done some group movements, big group movements, but that is just a tip of an iceberg. You can't take as a numbers which is correct. But the outbound people are just eagerly waiting. Believe me, they are eagerly waiting to borders to get open up, and they are ready to travel. So, as Zahira says, the air bubble needs to be streamlined properly, and the SOPs needs to be very clear cut. Things will start immediately, believe me. As far as Penang is there, I know because I had been to Penang couple of times. As far as the cruise tourism is there, and it's a beautiful destination to travel. So everyone just want to travel. Believe me, as far as India is there, let the borders open up. Even the Singapore, if you see, they just opened this accelerated travel lane. There was a huge surge in the visa applications, and people were just ready to travel. So I'm quite optimistic. So don't nothing to worry about it. As far as the moment we are just eagerly waiting. So why we can guide us properly when you guys are opening up, or you should have the bubble agreement with Penang directly. I think so. Then Zahira also will be much more happier.
All right.
I'll
Yeah, I think.
certainly be happy.
Prasad, I'm telling you, I'm quite optimistic about our trade. Let it be very clear because it's high time people have not moved out of their house. Believe me, even no one, because even if you ask me personally, like how why we used to travel, we used to travel day in and off, and we can't just sit at home. We all are humans, you can't just put them in a cage and you say you stay inside one city or stay inside one area. No, absolutely no. Believe me.
Uh,
Lot of things are we
Mr.
are our
Jitul,
members
in fact,
association also ready to wait eager just to go out. They say get us a convention, do something good big about it. Let's explore a new destination. So
Yes,
Mr.
things
like.
can
Jitul,
anytime.
in fact, we are happy. I would be the first person, will be the most happiest person if they open the VTL between Penang and India. But then, even our
Yeah.
request, YBO made a request for a Penang Singapore VTL. Until now, it's not
Okay.
approved yet. So
I
it's
know
such
that's a challenge, as you say.
that's
That's
the
true.
challenge that
That's
we are
true.
having. The
Everyone
policy
is
maker.
facing the challenge. Let me tell you, we all are facing the same challenges. So a lot of requests has gone from our association side. The companies has on an individual level has a lot of made their applications. Like a lot of projects are pending in Malaysia for the people. Like I always say, Zahira, that machines are exported, lying, it's unpacked, and you have to install the machines. They can't travel. Their payments are stuck up. They approach the Malaysian embassies, consulates, but somehow that those things doesn't happening much, even on the business front as well. What you are saying is correct. But it will be soon verified because the vaccination drive is going, and even the WHO is quite optimistic. The Omicron level, like the variant, is pretty low, so they say it's a good news that the virus is the effect is going down. In a medical language, that is what they are saying. I was reading somewhere, so it's a good. I think so. PC that we don't have to worry about it. I'm quite optimistic and positive about outbound from India. Take my word.
All right. Okay, thank you for that optimism, Jitul. I think we all need that at this time. So basically, I'd like to, like normally in the entire ecosystem, the tour operator is actually the one who is on the direct connection with the traveler, right? And all that, whatever issues, the first-hand issues have been faced and, experienced. And I'm sure tour operators will have a lot to share and to, suggest especially when this kind of arrangements, because they're the one who actually are in the arrival gate with the board to receive them, and then from taking care of everything if somebody arrives. So what Zahira has been sharing, and I think it's very important for us to understand some kind of suggestions from your side to the authorities if they're listening, from your first-hand experience, right? I mean, what is lacking? I'm pretty sure that you must have got enough time to think of, hey, what is wrong where, and what could have been fixed. If you could share something like, right, be good.
Well, just like Jitul said, I'm also very hopeful about the travel industry. I know that we will actually be back stronger. We will bounce back. We are very resilient people actually in the industry. So yeah, I think what we are lacking here in Malaysia, number one, is the timeline. All right. We have been living in the lockdown since 18 March 2020. Till today, 2022, we do not have any hope and we do not have any timeline. Because if you look into neighboring country like Thailand, they actually gave a timeline to the stakeholders, to the public, to the industry that, okay, we might open and if they delay, maybe they delay for a week or a month or two. So there's something for them to look forward. We do not have that in Malaysia. We only know that we do not know something will be just announced at 5 o'clock in the evening today, and that's what we know. We do not have any hope, which makes us very difficult to revive. Like for example, there are a lot of MICE requests. There's a lot of corporate who wants to travel, especially pharma companies who have made hell of money during this lockdown, during this pandemic, from the Middle East. I have like a group from Dubai who's willing to pay a huge amount of bringing 200 over people, spend a lot of money for the events. Unfortunately, we cannot give them a date or a tentative hope that, okay, you can probably travel in the month of May, or maybe you can travel in the month of June. We do have group requests from India in the month of April, but at the end of the day, we have no timeline. So that's our number one hurdle. The government should come up with something more concrete. Secondly, is that again, SOP. One SOP for all the agencies, standardize and ensure that each agency, from the doorkeeper, from the immigration, up to the local stakeholder, travel agents, are aware of one standard SOP. Probably the government can come up with one website, a standard one, that, okay, all the information relevant is here. We do not have to go separately to immigration website separately, MOTAC separately, and then we have to figure out what to do, and we have to come up with our own SOP. So I think that's the most lacking part from the industry, and I hope that we can actually streamline that. At least, you see, when it comes to travel companies like us inbound, the bidding that the corporate does, it is at least 3 to 4 months in advance. All right. And if we are unable to submit our bid or give them a hope that Malaysia is going to open, we will lose that business. Let's say, for example, if today I have a bid, right, for the month of March, and probably we might reopen in the month of March, but unfortunately, because we have not communicated in advance, we will actually lose the business to other destination. Malaysia is no longer the destination that we used to be 15 years ago. Now we have a competition like Turkey. We have a competition like Baku. Of course, the European country and the rest of the world is always there, but we have new destinations who have actually come out and take the chunk of our business. So if we do not submit accordingly, we will actually lose as a destination.
Right. I think correctly said, when it comes to the destination and its competition, I think it's very important to be competitive, and especially at this kind of situations, to keep people updated. I think with the roadshow into Penang, and that's what I think PSF is trying to do, like to tell people that, listen, this is what happening in Penang and Malaysia, and that's I think that's the best way to keep it going. I mean, it was surprising to see a large number of people still would like to, although we could see a lot of company names have changed, people have changed, right? But it's remained the same. All people who were in the forefront of other companies now in different companies. But I think what is happening with such events definitely keep those kind of information to the market. At least they know that what is happening with in Malaysia. So basically, to ask YB on, if you could, give us your advice or suggestion to the travel partners who are actually, looking forward to promote Penang, Malaysia, as we have a lot of. I think The buyers list, if you could see, they are from all over India. We have a large number from south as well as the west markets. So I'm pretty sure that they're all looking at, even there are so many people asking about any travel bubble arrangement between Penang and India and all that. So if you have any information or anything which you can share, like to share.
Okay. Thank you, Prashant, again. I think I would always promote Penang first, being a Penangite. Of course, when you come to Penang, you're coming to Malaysia. You can also explore the other part of Malaysia, which is Langkawi, and also definitely Kuala Lumpur. And our Indian travelers, they like to go to Genting. For that is one of the popular leisure destination in Malaysia. But I think Penang has its own uniqueness that attracts the tourists from all over the world, and this has been my call since my days as a local councillor. I was always telling that go after the Indian market. The Indian market is very huge, and we know that the Indian travelers will love to come to Penang and Malaysia. But as far as I concern, I think this after the YBO took over in 2018, and in my speeches in our legislative assembly, I always say that please look into India, and immediately he started to look into India, and I think it's very promising. And we are engaging the Indian partners on an annual basis. In fact, we are always been in touch all the while, and I would say that I don't know if other states are doing it. I don't know if Motag is doing it, but we are very keen to engage our Indian partners, because we know, as what Ms. Zahira said earlier, China and India are our important partners in this region, and we need um, travelers from these countries, be them business travelers, be them tourists, or medical tourism tourists. We need them. In fact, that's the case. In fact, our someone was in the comment section. Someone asked about medical tourism. I see medical tourism. Yes, Indonesians, the most preferred medical health tourism destination is, of course, still Penang, because it's our close proximity. Okay, what I would want our Indian partners to promote about Penang is on the first week of January. I think on the second week of January, CNN has listed Penang as the second best destination to visit in 2022. I think we are the only Asian representative in the list, the best destination to go in 2022. Maybe that is also due to our responsible tourism campaign, and we are very careful. And our number of infection in tourism attraction is not that much, if I can see it. Maybe I may be wrong factually, but I mean, when comparing the statistic and everything, but I think we don't have much tourist destinations or hotels closed down due to NAS infections and so on. So it's still one of the preferred tourist destination and safest, I would say. And International Living Magazine has listed Penang in the third for the 15 best island to retire in the world. And after Malta, Mallorca, and it is Penang. And if you compare Malta, Mallorca in Spain, and Penang, the cost in Penang or in Malaysia is much more relatively affordable for any travelers, especially the Indian and Chinese travelers. You can spend here more, and I would say that that's a place to visit with value for money. And uh, as we all always say, Penang is a melting pot of Malaysia, where all the cultures of Malaysia is here, and of course, all the culture of Asia is here. We have Indian heritage here, we have Chinese heritage, we have our own Malay heritage, and we call it Malaysian heritage. And we are a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Georgetown, and we are a business-friendly state when it comes to tourism players and also for the other businesses, and one of the desired MICE destination. I think Ashwin is doing a fantabulous job there, attracting the MICE players to come to Penang. So I would say that our Indian partners should continue to promote Malaysia and Penang in particular, because we are looking at opening of the border anytime soon. I think within 3 or 4 months. This is what I'm expecting, reading the news and everything. So I think our borders will be open in this year. So I think make Penang as your first destination to visit after these 2 years of lockdown. So that would be my advice to our travel partners in India, and continue to engage us. You have any queries or any views about Penang that you want to know, please contact our partners, PSAP, and our players in India. So they would advise you on what to do and everything. And eventually, I'll go back to the bureaucracy, the SOPs, the travel ban does not drafted or implemented by the state government. It's by the federal government, and they are being advised by a group of health professionals who don't give consideration to the other industries. So I hope that will change rather sooner, rather soon than later. So we hope to see some improvements there. All of us want to see that. I'm as a state assemblyman, and always people will say that people are concerned about this COVID spread in the community. I'm saying that people are more concerned about their economy. They need to live. When tourism industry restart again, all of the economy will boom up again. From the local hawkers, from the shopping centers, for the local traders, for everyone. So I think we are looking at opening up. So continue to promote Penang, continue to promote Malaysia. Hope we all will see in person sooner. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Satish. I think definitely, I think Penang is India's one of the favorite destination when it comes to Malaysia. I think everyone would like to, especially with the cruise. It was a huge movement before COVID to Penang. So I hope it might restart again very soon. Zahira, I would like to ask you this question, right? From the industry, I think you probably have your own view on this, but how much tourism will change post-COVID? Does the way travel agents operate will it be changing, or how do you take this?
Okay, probably there will be some changes, but I don't think so much changes will be there. Like what Mr. Jitul have rightly say, the travel agents are here to survive, and it will, because consumer will actually, because of a lot of confusion into SOPs and procedures and cancellations and all that. So I believe that consumer will actually use travel agent much more than they used to before. I'll just share with you some statistic. The American Travel Agent Association agencies, they have seen 35% increase in business, and almost every agencies are actually picking up new customers who used to book from all the OTA. Reason being is of all this confusion and then all these policy changes, people need a one-stop contact. So I shall say that it is a bad news for the OTA, it is a good news for travel agents. Consumer behavior is changing in terms of they need personalized service, especially when they are actually traveling cross-border. So that's one thing. Second thing is, probably we will not see the series. We will still see the huge corporate group traveling, but we might not see series traveling because family will be, they prefer to only travel within the family themselves. They do not want to go into the crowded area. They want to probably explore the second tier or third tier destination cities. So yeah, in a way, consumer I think the way they are buying is changing, and it will change probably for a couple of years more to come.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Zaire. I think we're actually moving towards the end of our session. I would like to go one round with your point on Jitul. Just let us know, like, if you have any announcements, if you any feedback, or if you'd like to have any suggestions, advices to the industry, Jitul.
I was listening to YB very carefully about this, the rules and what their Penang is promoting. I think so. It is very important for the for Malaysia, for inbound, for us as an outbound, there has to be a confidence. Because if you ask, typically, Zahira, the lot of group departure, like practically every group departure is cancelled in after like March 2020, correct? So the lot of it's a bit weird, but a lot of people's money got stuck up. So now actually they are scared to rebook the tour. It's a bit off if you find me, but I think so. This is the best time to make them, give them a confidence. Ki, okay, your money is safe with us. Believe me, I have come across so many people. He says we are going for a holiday. We give them the payment to whatever tour operators. I'm not saying that tour operators, the company, they are genuinely stuck up with their agents, local agents in the respected country. But to get a confidence of the Indian people, one should have some kind of a policy or something, where you can give them a confidence. Okay, don't worry, even if you book with us in advance, or your money is safe, or whatever, like, as a state, maybe Satish, you can come out with some kind of a policy. This is my humble suggestion to you, because this will give really boost to tourism, and this will give you an instant start, and people are making an advance booking. Because I have got a lot of corporates, they are asking me, Zahira, where to do, what to do when we even send a proposal. Okay, now how much advance we have to pay? Is our money secure? When we are getting an event for a mice movement for 300, 400, 500 people, how can we send so many money, and will our money will be protected or not?
I
And
think
second thing, sorry, a second thing, we should give also, give, okay, if God forbid and anything medical emergency happens, Penang as a province has an improper infrastructure to take care of foreigners. So nothing to worry about it. Like typically, people used to say, if we have been shift, I see, as I am ready to shift myself in a private hospital, but no, you have to live in a government hospital. So I get scared to travel to a particular country. If something goes wrong with me, they will put me to the quarantine where I have no access. I can't stay in a private hospital, although I'm ready to spend the money. So those small clarities will boost a confidence for an outbound from an India. Okay, this particular country is safe to travel. There are people to help us. The government is looking care or taking care of tourists. These are the very small things, I think so. This can really boost things. You can declare your private hospital list, or some minimum kind of or some kind of a support call centers for a tourist where they can call up. Because there's a lot of confusion which is there. You don't know, the family of four is traveling. Say example, if I got COVID positive, my wife and my daughter get stuck up, they don't know what to do. I'm in an isolation without any contact. Just trying to give you an example. So they are very scared. We don't want to go. Let's be wherever we are staying. So small things, I think so. Maybe that will really help you to get immediate confidence. So people, when they decide to start to travel, they might looking at Penang for the first option. Okay, these are the ready information available for us. This is my, I think so. This is my just a small thought process which I want to share with you right now. As far as he is there, is thing is there.
yeah. If I can add something there, PC,
Please.
Yes,
echoing
Zahira,
what
please.
Jitul has highlighted, I think that's a very important point. If we realize that when we do MICE groups, every hotel is issuing a contract with a force majeure clause. I think the force majeure clause need to be implemented at more higher level. Every hotel need to be including the force majeure clause, and as a responsible travel agent, we need to share the contract with our buyers, because I've had this experience when Egypt, not war, there was a disruption in Egypt many years ago, when we actually had a group coming in, and that time hotel realized they did not put the force majeure terms in the contract, and then we had to suffer some losses and all that. So I think more than ever, the force majeure need to be highlighted so that the process of refund is very clear. That means the money is not stuck with the travel agent. If the travel agent have paid the money to the hotel should refund in order for us to give, because service is not being utilized under the force majeure clause. So I think because European companies are actually very strict on this clause. Unfortunately, when we work with Indian agents, neither party, we are into all that. What we do is we send groups on email, and then we confirm the group. It is so trust kind of a thing. I shall say like a Muniandy dukan kind of a
Yeah.
business, right? So I think we need to bring the professionalism in the industry and implement certain clauses. So that's my point of view.
All right. I think it's yeah, it's a very valid thing. Yes, Jitul, yes, you say something.
No, you're asking me the question, and unfortunately, I shifted to this thing. So you're asking me something. So
Yeah, yeah. So I mean,
whether
just
we
want
go
to
to
have
answer.
your view on your suggestion or your advice to the industry, to the players, especially agents from Malaysia. They're looking at having the roadshow next week. So tell us a bit about how you guys
Bro,
planning.
everything is fine. Believe me, let's trust in ourselves. Let's trust in our experience. Oh no, I know it's a very downfall sentimentally, for us, everything. A lot of people have drained, a lot of people have suffered the losses from the family. I know it's emotionally also drained, but please don't trust your own self. Stay together, help each other's hand. As Zahira says, maintain a complete transparency. There is, see, every day when the moment more you maintain the transparency, the more business you will get. Believe me, PC, the things, dynamics of the business has entirely changed. Like typically, when you open all your books and say, "This is what I'm doing, this is what I'm earning," they are ready to happily they pay. Okay, you pay me as far as you are protecting us. So I'm telling everyone, nothing to worry about it. Let me tell you, you might be finding me too optimistic, but it's a fact. Okay, nothing to worry about it. Things are going to fine. We will go to travel. It's on the contrary, we should start really recontacting ourselves and give more and more better options, because the COVID has made us learn we need to protect ourselves for refunds. The documentation needs to be done properly, the contracting needs to be done properly. We have to understand the tomorrow what's the jurisdiction. Say the contract has been done between my company and the Zahira's company, but where what is the jurisdiction it will come to? By fault, God forbid, when something goes wrong. So those things needs to be understood properly, I think so. So as an association also, I don't know if from a Malaysia point of view, we can discuss on these things. So on a common platform, we can share those common things with our all members and the tour operators, which they will help them to ease out the doing of the business, which is I think so, which is very primarily important, doing ease of the business. Because believe me, next 1 or 2 years when things will open, there is the business is coming so much on the table that we will not going to have even time to look at anywhere else. We'll forget everything. Business is just coming, it's going to boom. One of the most golden period after such a long time. Take my word.
All
If
right,
you
that's
will reconnect, we'll remember each other then.
that's very nice. Nice to hear that, and we wish that happens, right? We can see it happening, right? In many countries, whoever countries open up, really going great with the movement, right?
That's
Okay,
true.
so basically, we are actually going towards the end of it, and I will just go one round with all of you to have your final, outlook towards it. Any, just moving to YB Satish, if what's your final take on this? Anything you want to tell the audience, YB?
Uh, thank you, Prashant, and for hosting this session, and Mr. Jitul and Ms. Zahira. It's a pleasure to discuss with the esteemed industry players from Malaysia and India, and it's a lot of learning for me. And obviously, Mr. Jitul, whatever you have said about the assuring the safety of the travelers post COVID is something that we all look into it, and I'm very sure that on our part, Penang will take note of it, and we will do the necessary steps to assure our travelers post COVID to assure them that Penang is safe for them to come, and uh, I can assure you that Penang, you won't feel lost in Penang, because this is our nature. Penang people, we like to interact with people. We like to talk to people. I mean, I'm not boasting about ourselves, but I think this is Penang people. We like to help each other. So
I
you don't have
experienced
to
the
worry.
same.
Yeah. So we don't have to worry about it, but then it should be in papers, and it should be there should be some kind of a policy or procedures for us to follow. And to sum up, I'm looking at the tourism industry in a very positive note. The recovery is looking very promising, but the only thing is our policymakers, especially in the health from the health perspective, they should be open their eyes wide. They should look at the economic recovery of people. That is what more important. When we were facing lockdowns after lockdowns, I'm very sure even in India, people are talking about, okay, people may not die because of COVID, but because of the economic downturn, businesses are being closed, people are forced out of their job, and all these things. So we don't want to go back to that situation. We are looking at recovery, and I hope authorities back in India, back in Malaysia, they all will be more open to open the borders, and of course with some safety protocols, with the health protocols, which will be very reasonable. For me, current quarantine of 14 days, even 7 days is not reasonable. In fact, Malaysia has just said that it's going to be 5 days. I think 3 days will be better, and that's my personal opinion. I think this should be the case, and I hope the authorities who are making these policies will come to their senses and open our borders so that our industry, the tourism industry, can bloom again. And I hope to see all our partners from India when the borders are open. Of course, we all know that Ashwin and Pisat will host. He used to host dinners and gala for our partners in India. So I hope to see you guys here back in Malaysia, back in Penang, whenever we are able to meet physically. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Vaibhi, for your time. Indeed, it was a very nice discussion, and we'll see you again, Vaibhi. Thank you so much. All right, so moving on to Zahira. So, your final thoughts, please.
My final thought is same with Jitul. The travel industry will bloom because there's a revenge tourism. There's a new term called revenge tourism that will definitely happen. We just have to stay put. And also, I think that I hope that the government agencies take this more seriously, that it is time for them to open the border. It's been 2 years, too long. And India is one of our biggest market in terms of spending, trade, and others. So we can't ignore that until unless we don't open for India, the recovery is not going to be as far as we expected, because the volume and the kind of the spending power, the mice groups and others. So that's very important market for us. And yeah, I hope that, good luck to all of us. And those who survive and those who don't, I just hope that, we'll all do well in our whatever that we have chose the path.
Thank you so much, Zahira. I think you have given out a lot of important information on, the recovery. I think it will be definitely useful. It will be used somewhere. I'm pretty sure that, if anybody wants any reference, they can rewatch this video and see what has happened. All right. So thank you so much, Zahira. I will see you, catch you back again. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Yes, Jitul, what is your final thoughts on today's session?
So this is quite an informative and positive session, I personally believe, Prashant, and this is what it is required. And thanks to you that you given us this platform to talk and discuss and open out our thoughts, which is very much required across everyone. Because believe me, as an association head, I've seen people in dilemma. A lot of members start. We used to call us talking, So we have to be stay positive, and as you say, is you should start providing a platform. Since Zahira is gone and YB is gone, actually, as an association, we can help each other, and we will come to a common ground where we can see how things grows. And in fact, since they are not there, so this is not the right platform. But still, a lot of other things can be discussed to them directly. Even if I be interested, my association can get in touch with him, and we have to make sure how things go. We can help them. And believe me,
Definitely.
Penang has a great potential. Being a cruise also is there, because being
Right.
a cruise, they have an excellent potential to do it. So a lot
Right.
can be catered on this. Nothing to
Right.
worry about it. I'm telling you, it's just an end of the pandemic. I personally believe.
Absolutely. I think thank you so much, Jitul. Thank you so much for taking time out. We will definitely looking forward to see your members for the roadshow the next week. I'm sure that
Yeah,
must
you
have.
share us in detail. We will definitely circulate among our members. And by that time, you and your family, please take care of yourself and stay safe and be in touch anytime.
Thank you so much, Jitul. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
and
Take care.
see you again. Thank you. Bye. All right, guys, we have come towards the end of the session today. We will I think the time for the quiz now. So we talk about the gamification for the Penang Roadshow. One of our colleagues will be posting the link for you to answer the quiz. So those who are actually the buyers and also the trade visitors can click the link and answer the quiz, and please use the registered email ID which you have used to register for the platform. for the roadshow, right? Okay, so I think the links are already in the chat. So I think we are coming towards the end of it. Please, if you could answer those questions, you will be getting 100 points, which will be added to your platform points, and then eventually you will be picked up as a winner of the top, who are coming on the top line. All right, so thank you so much for today's engagement. Please keep posting your comments, and also if you have anything to ask about the show, you can also post in the comment box. One of our team member will be replying you. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to see you again. Probably we're also going to see you during the roadshow as well. So till then, thank you and goodbye.